What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Movies That Make You podcast, where movies are more than just entertainment. They're a catalyst for meaningful conversations. I'm Jonathan Sprang, and I go by Sprang. And most weeks we dive into movies to watch in preparation for a new release hitting theaters. But we don't stop there. We talk about the deeper ideas, the life lessons, and the morals that these films have to offer. This week, we're going to be prepping for Thunderbolts. This is the second Marvel movie coming out this year, and it features a whole bunch of the side characters all teaming up to stop a villain. Looks like a lot of fun. So we watched a few Marvel movies where these characters were introduced, and we had a lot of fun with those, and we'll talk through all the Marvel stories that we can on that episode. We hope you'll jump over to our website and see all of our links. It's bio.site/moviesthatmakeyou. That's bio.site/moviesthatmakeyou. There you'll find all of our links to our Instagram, to each podcast stream, whether it's Apple or Spotify. You'll also find our Letterboxd link, which highlights the lists of movies that make you laugh, movies that make you cry, movies that make you scream, and everything in between. Before we dive into this week's episode, though, let's take a look at the next 4 weeks on the Movies That Make You podcast. Next week, we're talking about Tom Shadyac films. The three films in particular are Evan Almighty, Bruce Almighty, and Liar Liar. Three of these films that have a really strong moral, so we wanted to take a look at those. They requested to watch Bruce Almighty. I said, let's make an episode out of it. The week after that, Kristen's going to be on. We're talking Final Destination films. This is one of the horror films that she actually really enjoyed, and so we rewatched all the ones leading up to the new one. Bloodlines looks amazing. Looks very scary, so we're looking forward to that conversation. Week after that, the boys are going to be back. We're talking Mission Impossible. We watched a few of the films to gear up for the final reckoning, but we're also going to rate the stunts from the Mission Impossible movies. All the ones that Tom Cruise did himself, we're going to rate them 1 to 10. The week after that, we're doing The Karate Kid. Daniel LaRusso is back and Mr. Han is back. So we rewatched the original Karate Kid and also the Jaden Smith remake. So gonna have a lot of fun with that conversation. The new movie looks incredible. Hope those episodes excite you. So without further ado, let's get to the podcast. We are back with another episode of the Movies That Make You podcast.
I think we're missing somebody.
Where is Zeke?
Oh, that's right. Let me see if I can get him.
Yes. What?
Yeah.
I was just about to get a victory royale.
Sorry, dude. You got to do the podcast.
Dang it.
I know.
I think I can still. Hold on. Yes, I got it.
Very nice. We are back. Another episode, Moves That Make You podcast. I'm Sprang. And let's run it down, boys, from the top.
I'm Connor, and I'm 15.
I'm Colton, and I'm 12.
Question mark?
3 years. I'm Zeke, and I'm 11 and a half.
Nice. We are close to a couple birthdays. Whose birthday's up next?
I think it might be Colton.
Colton?
No, Jacob.
Me.
Wait, no, it's yours. Yours.
Mine, yes.
Yeah.
My birthday's up next. Just a few weeks. And then 2 months to the day, it's Colton's birthday.
Today's
My birthday. 2 months from my birthday.
Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, today we're going to be talking about preparing for Thunderbolts movie. Lots of side characters and stuff that we've seen in other places. We rewatched a couple of movies for that, but we're just going to talk through some of the characters and where we've seen them and what we like about them. But before we do that, let's do a little catch up. Connor, why don't you go first? Mustard!
Get
Sorry.
out.
I knew you were going to make that joke.
I got this printer like a month ago, and I have some prints. I printed this Nuka-Cola bottle and painted it, and I printed a lot more stuff, but I have. And then I did this boat, and this is my first print. It's a cat, and then I made this controller wheel thing. And yeah, I'm selling it now because I've had it for a while, and I want to get Ender 3v3 KE, which is like the next one, or Scott's printer. We'll see. It depends on like the one I want to get if it's still on sale. Whenever I have the money.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What's up, Zeke?
So, Connor, remember when we were going to do that special project for you know what?
Yeah.
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 Can you create the model?
I'm trying. I tried actually, but the base isn't working. I tried it. It's like on a weird site, and I tried to get it off there, but I could probably do it on my computer. I was trying to do it at school.
Gotcha. Yes, that is going to be a fun thing to show everybody. Colton, how about you?
What was the question?
How's it going?
What's going on? How's life?
It's going good. Nothing much is happening. Just
Okay.
no.
Yeah.
Pretty basic, huh? Normal. Zeke, what about you?
Well, life's going pretty good. Definitely got its ups and its downs.
Like a basketball?
What?
Like a basketball? It goes up and it goes down?
That's really corny.
Yeah, it was. Well, we're going to jump into the movies now. So, Colton, you want to give us a little rundown of Black Widow?
So, Black Widow is like a fun movie about a girl. So, like, her parents, I don't know if they had, like, they're part of the
Mafia.
they're part of the mafia. So, then they had to leave their place, and then the cops were, like, trying to chase them down, and then the dad got on the side and started, like shooting, like, the ops. And then they got to this, was it Cuba? Russia.
It was, I think they did land in Cuba, but it was at the time in history where Cuba and Russia were kind of partners.
Yeah, so they landed in Cuba, and then all the girls are like got took to like a camp. I don't know, and then
Like it was like a training camp for
and then they got
young
like
assassins.
it skips to like when Black Widow's old. She's on the guys are trying to find her, and then she's like on the ship thing, and then she throws her phone, and then it cuts to her sister killing people. And then doesn't Black Widow like get a cabin?
Yes, but while her sister is killing people, she gets like that smoke stuff. Remember what happens with her when she's about to kill the lady?
And then she doesn't.
She does, but before the lady dies, she sprays her with this red mist stuff. Remember that? What was that?
I have an answer, but I don't know if that's allowed on the podcast.
Well, if it's the right answer, it would be
Drugs.
no. No.
Colton.
What was it? That. What was it? Do you remember, Zeke?
I remember it was a chemical.
Mm-hmm.
It was definitely red. It was
chemical radium.
So just before you continue, we got to talk through this. So Yelena is Black Widow's sister, and they both grew up under this assassin regime called the Widows. And what they found out in the very beginning of this movie is that they are being brainwashed, and the red chemical that the lady sprayed in Yelena's face, broke the brainwashing.
Oh yeah.
So that she could make her own decisions. And then we find out later like where that came from and who's using it and all that stuff. So, but that's important because Yelena was killing people, but she was operating under like mind control. So
go ahead. Now. Okay. So the Black Widow gets a cabin, and then one day she drives off to go get something from that cabin, and then it was
Sprang.
a black suit thing, and then she gets attacked, and then she almost dies because the guy's trying to get the red things from her.
Yep.
It's not a guy.
It was a girl.
Yeah, I know.
We found out that it was a girl
they
later.
don't know that yet.
Yeah.
So they get the red things from her, and then I forgot how the fight ended. But
I think
she
got
jumped
pushed
into
in the
river.
water. Yeah,
that's right. Because she found out that because we find out that character or that guy after her is Taskmaster. Do you remember what's unique about Taskmaster and what she finds out in the middle of that fight?
She was in
the fight. I know we find out later who she is, but
remember she can go invisible. I don't know, teleport.
No, that was Ghost. What's unique about Taskmaster?
Taskmaster, she could mimic anyone's fight movement. She basically, so if there's a box match going on, she can basically mimic the other person's moves. Like if someone does, she will do.
Yeah,
but faster.
And we see her earlier before she goes after Black Widow. The Taskmaster is watching videos of the airport fight from like the other movies and stuff, and so she's trying to watch, and it's news footage, but she's trying to watch it so she can learn all the Avengers moves, and so that she can take them all down. So that's something that's happening too. All right, So after she jumps in the water, what happens?
I think she has the box too, and then she goes back or something.
Yeah, she goes to Budapest, the apartment, and when she gets to the apartment, she
She fights
finds.
her sister. Yeah. So they start fighting, and then like then they stop fighting, and then they're like, I don't know what's happening. They're
Are you
just
mind controlled?
they
No, are
stop
you?
fighting.
Yeah.
No, 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 no,
Yes.
no, no. Oh, hug reunion,
Yeah.
good times.
And then the bad guys track them down and are taking them out, so they got to
Yeah, and
get
then they
away.
go on like this whole little driving thing, and then they drive into a subway, and I think they use it. Yeah, yeah,
No, they hid in the roof of the
yeah.
subway station.
Not very fresh at this part of the movie.
I know, it's okay. It's been a few weeks.
And then they
Uh,
hide.
But then they decide that they need somebody to help them track down. They need to find their parents again. Is basically what they said. They need to try to find, because their mom, their fake mom, would know where the head of the Black Widows are, and so they're
Yeah,
like,
I
we got to
know,
track
I
them
know
down.
where we are now. So then they go to get the dad, and then they use like this helicopter thing, and then because the dad's in like prison, so then they get the dad, and then they go to the mom's house. They go get the mom, and then when they're there, the ops track them down, and then like they get shot at, and then they get brought into a got brought into the Death Star in the sky, and then the Black Widow pretends to be the mom, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the mom pretends to be the Black Widow, and then they switch, and then the mom gets the guys out because she was like affiliated with the gang members, and then they both get out, and then Black Widow like she goes to the head boss and starts fighting them, and then the sister she's about to get stabbed with a needle, and then she karate kicks them, and then they all like do their own separate missions, blah blah blah, nobody cares, and then get to the point where all the guys are against Black Widow, and then Black Widow fights them all, and then the one girl turns off their head things, so now they're all good, and then while she did that, she dropped a plane propeller into the engine, and then the engine shut down, and then things started crashing, and then they were doing like Fortnite skydiving, and then they hit the ground, and then the mom died. Well, the mom died somehow. I don't know if she died from that impact.
No, I don't think the mom
I
died.
don't think the mom died.
What?
They all
When
escaped.
Natasha died, she died early.
I don't think anybody died.
Natasha died in the credit scenes, because in the credit scenes it was showing them at
Oh. Gotcha.
It
For
was-
the post-credit scene.
It was
Yeah.
after this takes place. Thunderbolts takes place after Endgame.
Yeah.
I'm so
So
smart. Let's go.
Okay. So just to recap, the Black Widow is placed right after Captain America: Civil War. That's where the timeline is, and so that's why she's still alive, and we're getting all this backstory. But then the post-credit scene is after Endgame, and that is when something else happened. We'll get to that in just a second. But the way that Black Widow, the movie ends, is that they end up taking down all the guys. She blows up the ship. They all land safely on the ground. Taskmaster stops fighting them, and then all the widows show up, and they all, along with her family, everybody jumps in the Stark ship and flies away. Black Widow stays behind, so she's arrested by Thunderbolt Ross and all the government. That's how Black Widow ends. Cool. Good rundown. So we get introduced to quite a few folks in this film that are going to be in Thunderbolts. First one is Yelena Belova, which is Black Widow's sister. She's played by Florence Pugh. So what was some of the fun moments that you had with her in the film? What was some of the key moments for her life?
The sister?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's funny.
Yeah.
She likes her pockets.
Oh yeah, and I like the way she talks.
And remember, she's a poser.
Yes, she was talking about how Black Widow poses after she jumps and stuff. That was pretty funny. What do you think was fun about Yelena?
She's so sassy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she would totally be me if I was a woman.
Maybe. Yeah. So one of the key takeaway I think is cool with her is that she really did, like, she was little when they were a family, and she really believed that they were a family, even though they were just Russian spies hiding out in America. And so when they took that taken away from their parents, that was really sad for her, and she kind of held on to that. And that comes back to play later in the film when they're all kind of sitting at the table and talking about stuff, and the dad's like, "It was just a job." But that really hurt her feelings, and she left the table, and then they kind of made up in her bedroom, like telling stories and things like that. So that's pretty crazy. The other character that we get is also pretty funny. Alexei Shostakov is Red Guardian. David Harbour plays him, and he is also he kind of hit the scene before this movie in a show called Stranger Things. That's where I kind of first knew about him. But this is one of his big movie roles. So what's some things you remember about Red Guardian and how he acted?
He acted like he was the best.
Mm-hmm.
He was such a good third protagonist.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What was his big story, Connor, that he kept telling throughout the movie?
I forgot.
You remember, Colton?
I don't even know who we're talking about.
The dad.
Oh.
That the dad peed on his kid's hands? I don't know.
That was one of the stories, yeah, he talked about. Yeah, that was funny. But the story that he was telling, like, he kept telling people in the prison, and then he kept telling the daughters, asked another Avenger if he remembered him.
Captain America?
Yeah, he kept bragging about how he had fought Captain America back earlier. He did that a couple times. What's something you remember about Red Guardian, Colton, now that you know who we're talking about?
He's big.
He was skinny and then he got fat. I don't know.
Yeah.
And he has like super strength like Captain America.
Wait,
he
wasn't he one of the people that
Tested
like Captain America? I think he was tested on. There was 5 other people. Was he one of them?
No, that's a good call. That was from Captain America Civil War. We saw that there were like a bunch of people that they tested on. This was the Russians' version. So it's kind of like every country tried to recreate Captain America, and he was the Russian version. But he'd gotten that's one of the big things too, is that he got kind of kicked to the side. The guy that he was working for ends up being the boss guy that's the head of the Black Widows program, and he's the one that they're going after. But he, is really mad at him because he kind of kicked him to the side, and he's in prison. He's in Russian prison, and if he was a hero, he wouldn't be in prison. So it was kind of one of those pieces of his story that were like he was trying to do everything he was supposed to do, and he still got kicked to the side. So, anything else about Red Guardian? That the trying on the suit was pretty funny.
Oh yeah, that's why I was saying he was big, like big X to pull.
Yeah.
I don't think we've talked at all about the mom, but we're gonna get to that, right?
You can talk
I feel
about the
so
mom.
bad for the pigs. She tortures the pigs. She made the pigs stop breathing for a minute.
Yeah. How did she do that?
With the click of a button, because technology has gone way too far. AI and stuff.
Yeah. But in the movie,
yeah.
what was the mom in charge of?
The mother was in charge of biology of. I'm trying to remember. Biology of animals and humans, right?
Oh.
Yeah.
I've never
biology scientists.
Yeah, go ahead, Colton.
Psychology.
She also was an undercover person because she stayed with those guys because I guess they trusted her because she's the one who told them where they were.
Mm-hmm.
And then she was the one driving the plane. Get it? Because it was actually Natasha, but she was just undercover.
Yeah, and I think one of the key points for at least for that movie is that she was doing this for science, learning how to mind control, and she was using the pigs as her kind of guinea pigs. But then what she didn't realize, or maybe she did, but when they're at the dinner table and Natasha and Yelena are talking about your work that you're doing here is causing it's causing problems for all the other people. Like, you're controlling these women to be these assassins and making them do things that they don't want to do. And that was one of the interesting things. At the end, we find out that the bad guy has developed a way of keeping the widows from killing him, and it's all has to do with if they can smell his scent, they can't kill him. And so, what does Black Widow do in order to take him out?
She does this.
And she attacks
Matt,
herself.
if you could put effects there where my nose bleeds.
I'm not
to
doing
kill
effects,
me.
but we
Oh,
can't do
man.
effects.
Oh man, we don't have good editors.
So she
Yeah,
smells
no.
her blood.
We do.
What was that, Colton?
So she smells her blood.
Actually, so she cuts off.
Neuron activation
her.
or something.
Oh yeah, she cuts off her. No.
Yep.
Severs the nerve.
I thought
Yep.
she was just like, I don't know, glitching or something, and then somehow she attacked him.
No, she was severing the nerve that was controlling her scent to her brain, so that her brain couldn't smell, so that she could go ahead and attack him. So that's how she won.
She
Um,
broke her nose.
We already talked a little bit about Taskmaster, but what were some of your cool moments for Taskmaster? Go ahead, Zeke.
When she went up against Red Guardian, that was so cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, we didn't talk about who she is. Who's Taskmaster?
Taskmaster is the
Is she the
cyborg.
girl who can like mimic people, or
Yes, but who did we find out that she is?
the daughter of the what's his name?
Dreykov. Dreykov is the guy's name.
Black Widow blew half of the daughter's face off.
Find out that was Black Widow's entry into being a part of S.H.I.E.L.D. because she needed to prove her loyalty to America. And so Nick Fury made her do a mission. So her and Hawkeye went on this mission to Budapest together. She had to set a bomb so that Dreykov, the bad guy, would be killed. And she saw that the daughter was there in the room, but she still said, go forward with setting the bomb off. And that's how Taskmaster was born. Go ahead, Connor.
So the girl's face was burnt, but why wasn't the guy's face burnt? And how is he not dead?
Because he was in a different room.
Yeah, that's a great question. I don't remember. All right, so Taskmaster, talked about him. One other character that's in Black Widow is Secretary Ross. At this point, he is played by William Hurt, and he was the guy that was a part of the Sokovia Accords. He's the one that brought that to Tony Stark in Captain America Civil War to said, hey, Avengers need to work for the government. And Captain America said, no. That whole argument, that was all set in motion by William Hurt's Secretary Ross. But we just saw Secretary Ross become president in what movie?
Wait, was it the newest one? Was it the newest movie or was it an old movie?
No, it was the newest movie.
So was it the one where he turned into the Red Hulk? It was the one where, what's his name? Falcon guy became the Captain America.
Yep, absolutely. Captain America Brave New World. So Harrison Ford is now playing that character because William Hurt passed away. But yeah, and he's also going to be in Thunderbolts as well. And his name is Thunderbolt Ross, Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross. And so I'm interested to see how they play on that, because it's funny that they kind of make a joke about we're not going to call ourselves the Thunderbolts. It's just kind of silly. But yeah, so that's Secretary Ross. He's another character.
I realized. So we remember that S.H.I.E.L.D. is Hydra. So she was really proving her loyalty to Hydra.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And isn't this movie right after Civil War?
Correct. Yeah. Black Widow is, yeah. Last character that we need to talk about, she showed up in the post-credit scene, but we first got introduced to her in Falcon and Winter Soldier, and that is Contessa Valentina Allegra de Fontaine. Yeah. So you talked about it earlier, Colton, where Yelena went to visit Natasha's grave, and she's there. While she's visiting, this lady comes up. She's got a purple hair streak, right? What does she give to Yelena?
The man who killed.
Oh, she was trying to make it look like Hawkeye killed her, but it was really they were both trying to kill themselves for the benefit of the other person.
Yes, that's great. Yeah, so she was trying to sacrifice herself. She sacrificed herself, but Contessa Valentina is basically trying to turn Yelena against Hawkeye. And then that ends up queuing up the Hawkeye TV series on Disney+. And so the whole Hawkeye show is Yelena, well, not the whole thing, but for a good few episodes, they're going after Hawkeye. She's going after Hawkeye, and then they end up working together Contessa is also in. She played a big role in Falcon and Winter Soldier. I mentioned that. She also played a big role in Black Panther 2: Wakanda Forever. She was kind of directing some of the villainy in that movie. But for Thunderbolts, she's basically the one that's putting this group together. I know we haven't watched it together, but there's a movie called Suicide Squad, which is a very similar idea. That's the DC version, where this is Marvel. But in the DC version, there's a lady, Amanda Waller, who basically coordinates all of these bad guys that are in jail and gets them to do gets them to be fight for good by putting stuff in their brain that if they go against the rules that they get killed. That's kind of how she controls them. But this Contessa Valentina Allegra de Fontaine, she is the kind of the Amanda Waller character for the Thunderbolts. So all this is new to me. I've never read a comic about it. I've never done. I'm just kind of taking whatever the movies have told us and kind of learning from that, like what these characters are.
Can we ever watch Suicide Squad?
Yes, I believe it's PG-13, so we'll watch that at some point.
Yes.
Cool. So that's all the characters, I think, from Black Widow that are going to be in the new movie. We talked about each of those. So let's go ahead and move on to the other movie that we watched.
Oh, wait. Are we going to rate it?
Yeah, let's go ahead and rate it. Let's rate it. Black Widow, we haven't rated it before. Zeke, why don't you go first?
3.75. It wasn't that great.
Okay.
I didn't like it.
Maybe.
Okay. Colton?
5 big ones.
Yeah? You liked it that good? That's awesome.
5 big booms.
I give it a 4.
What was that, Connor?
4.
4? Okay, I think I have it a 4 as well. But that's really cool that you liked it really good. That's awesome, Colton. All right, let's move on to Ant-Man and the Wasp. The reason we watched Ant-Man and the Wasp is that Ghost is kind of the villain in Ant-Man and the Wasp, but she's now on Thunderbolts. So that's the character that's coming over to the Thunderbolts. So as a reminder, Scott Lang is Ant-Man. This movie is also following
Civil War.
Yes, it was also following Captain America: Civil War, and he is on house arrest because of him going to Germany and fighting in the airport scene. So he's been on house arrest for a very long time. He's like a few weeks away from being over with his house arrest. But in the meantime, he has a dream. He thinks it's a vision. It turns out to be a memory of Wasp's mom in the quantum realm. So he contacts Hank Pym and his daughter.
Wait, are you saying the thing was about her in the quantum realm, was from her?
It was a memory from the mom in the quantum realm. So she was like sending a signal to Scott Lang, yeah, thanks. Because he had gone to the quantum realm in the first Ant-Man movie to save his daughter, and then he realized he could go big again. But she's been stuck down there for years. So they find out Hank and Wasp have been trying to build the quantum like transport thing to try and go back and save her. Now that they know that you can come back from it, and when they opened it, that's when Scott had that vision. So they connect. They're trying to figure it out. Meanwhile, you've got this other villain. While they're trying to get parts to build this big contraption, this other villain shows up that can phase through things, and items can go invisible, can fight you, but then it can also phase through devices and through humans and all that stuff. But it's actually a curse on her. It hurts her to do the phasing. She doesn't want to do it. And so she doesn't have the power to stop it. And so she's working with Lawrence Fishburne's character, who is an old friend of Hank Pym, and he's trying to basically make it so that she can be healed from that pain. So then they get Scott out, and a lot of really cool, fun things with the shrinking of the cars, and then the blowing and making things bigger. Lots of cool gags with that technology that they introduced in the first film, but they kind of blew it up even bigger in the second. The police it's kind of an added thing because the police are trying to catch Scott from being out of his house, and he always ends up being back there in time. So that's a lot of fun. Really, really cool movie. Pfeiffer plays the mom. End up getting the mom back, and then she actually heals Ghost from the pain of the phasing at the very end of the movie. and then they end up being able to get away from the cops, and everybody's good. Lawrence Fishburne was going to turn himself in, but wanted her to get away, so she's still out there, and now she's going to be in Thunderbolts as one of the Thunderbolts. So that's as much as I could get through, but lots of cool gags. Connor, what were some of your favorite parts in Ant-Man and the Wasp?
I'm thinking about wait, I don't know if this is the same one, but whenever the guy went on the boat and Ant-Man went huge and was trying to catch him.
Yep. Yeah, that was Walton Goggins from Fallout that had stolen the lab.
Yeah,
the lab was...
that's why it was my favorite part, because he was in the Fallout show, and he's gonna be at Comic-Con. We're gonna go there soon, but there's no way I'm saving up $120 for that.
Fan Expo.
Why don't you say it? Yeah, go on. Do you want to say it?
It's Fan Expo.
Yeah, Dallas Fan Expo.
Yeah. So
what were you saying?
What
were you saying, Colton?
He was saying I was wrong, and then he was wrong.
I was closer.
Yeah. Colton, what's your favorite parts in the movie?
When the ants were like pretending to be Scott Lang at the house.
Big ant.
Oh yeah, that was pretty funny. They had the big grown-up ant that was mimicking all of Scott's actions that he'd been doing for the last few months under house arrest. That was great. Even taking the bath and everything. That was funny. Zeke, what about you?
I feel like he's been kind of depressed being all alone. But he has his daughter, and he's got lots of time on his hands, so he does a lot of creative stuff, like electric drums.
Mm-hmm.
And then the guy compliments on it, saying, "What are you, 10 years old or 5 years old?"
And what does he also learn? Close-up magic.
Oh yeah, which the other guy was learning.
Yeah.
The other guy was learning close-up magic university too.
I think that was one of the funniest interactions was the cop that was in charge of kind of keeping him under house arrest, and him. Their back and forth was really funny. And then one of the funniest moments is when he's done with house arrest, and he basically says, "I'll be seeing you later." And then Scott goes, "Why? Why are you going to see me later?" He's like, "No, because I'm like, when I'm going to catch you, next time you do something else." But I thought we were going to have I thought you thought we were going to have dinner or something. No. Do you want to have dinner? I mean, it's just this really funny interaction, and come to find out, it was all improv. So Scott wasn't supposed to say anything, and he did, and they kept the cameras rolling, and then they both kind of just went back and forth, kind of improvising their lines, and they kept it in the movie because it was so funny.
Remember the magic on the cruise? That was so cool.
Oh yeah, the magic on the cruise was amazing.
Like crazy. Like the whole time, and then on the table was Japan, and I was like, I knew it was gonna be Japan. I was like, I think it's Japan. Yeah,
that was cool. One of the big iconic moments for me was when she threw the Hello Kitty Pez dispenser at the guy at the motorcycle, and then shot it with the thing that made it go big. So it was just this huge Hello Kitty thing crashing down the street. That was pretty funny.
Definitely when the guy was injected with the truth serum.
Oh yeah, that whole.
Really funny. They had to mimic. They had to be like, yeah, you have to say the lines.
I can't, buddy. I don't know what you're talking about.
Can you say, "Oh yeah, this is so nice. I love this new car" or something?
Oh right. So he did that in the first movie, and so he does the whole backstory. Scott's buddy that does the security company does the whole backstory, and then it shows each character, but it's his voice and then their mouthing. Yeah, that's really funny. We can't recreate it, but it's funny.
Oh yeah, this was such a nice car.
Okay. So that whole line, that whole plot line with them and the truth serum and the bad guys with the truth serum, it's not truth serum. It's and then the way that they caught them and gave them all that serum, and they're like, oh wait, it really is truth serum.
Yeah, at the end they said it was truth serum.
Yeah, that was such a funny interactions the whole time. Cool. Any other thoughts on Ant-Man and the Wasp?
Zeke's
cool. What's that?
Zeke's doing it.
Yep. All right, let's do oldest to youngest. Connor, you go first. Let's rate it. Ant-Man and the Wasp.
I give it a 4. I think 4 is my most common number. I don't know. It's just a good number. Because 3.5 is too low.
I also give it a 4.
Zeke?
I give it a 4.5. It's really good, but it has the potential to go big.
Cool. I give it a 4 as well. I thought it was a really fun movie. Nice. All right. Last thing we have to comment on, only because he's a Thunderbolt, but we didn't watch any movies with him. But we did watch when we were doing the prep for Captain America Brave New World, we watched that kind of recap of Falcon and Winter Soldier. And the guy that became Captain America, that ended up, when he took the serum, he kind of went haywire and went crazy. That guy's name was John Walker. And at the end of Falcon and Winter Soldier, he gets tracked down and empowered by Contessa Valentina Allegra de Fontaine to be U.S. agent. So he is in the movie as well, not as Captain America, but as U.S. agent, because he now has the serum, he's strong, and all that stuff. So those are the main characters that we're going to see in Thunderbolts. Yelena Belova, Alexia Shostakov, Antonio Dreykov, Contessa Valentina Allegra de Fontaine, President Thaddeus Ross, James. Oh, we didn't talk about Bucky. The last one. We got to talk about Bucky. Oh my goodness. Amazing. So Bucky Barnes, we first got introduced in Captain America, the First Avenger, and then we saw him in Winter Soldier when he became the Winter Soldier. We saw him in Civil War. He was a big plot point in Civil War that caused them to break apart, the Avengers to break apart. Then he was in Falcon and Winter Soldier. They were going back and forth on who should be Captain America. And then we most recently saw him in Captain America Brave New World as he's going to be a senator. He is a senator now. And so that's kind of setting up his character where he is in Thunderbolts. But we see him in the trailer of Thunderbolts basically trying to stop the people coming after them. So he's been a major part of the MCU all the way through. So it's really cool that he's going to be in this one. So since we didn't see the movie, what's your favorite moment that we've seen Bucky in the movies, in all the movies? What's your favorite moment, Zeke?
Whenever, there's so many good ones. Whenever
He
Bucky
jumps off the train.
remembers, like it was so sentimental, man.
When he remembered Steve Rogers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this happened. He jumped off the train or something.
Yeah.
And he survived.
Yes. Yeah. At the first one.
Yeah.
What about your favorite moment, Colton?
I don't think I have
For
one.
Bucky. You don't have one? I got so many. I think my favorite moment is when he catches the shield in the Captain America Winter Soldier. When Cap throws the shield at him and he turns around and just catches it. That's just like, what? Like, that's so crazy. And then their fight, when they fight the first time, is just bonkers. So good. What's that?
That was tough.
Yeah, it was tough. All right. Well, we don't need to rate it because it's not a movie, but I guess that'll do it. But all those characters are in Thunderbolts. Excited to see Thunderbolts. Looks like a funny movie, and anxious to see it. Any final thoughts?
Mm-mm.
I do have a final thought on my own thing. So I was wondering if I could do like my own spin-off of movies that make you ... and I could do it myself.
Maybe. What would your show be?
My podcast would be
Earthquake.
shows that make you. Yeah. And it's all
okay.
about my favorite quirky little shows.
Okay. Yeah, we could do that. That'd be fun.
We need to do a Fallout show on whenever they're older.
Yeah.
Whenever you play Fallout, Colton. Because
And it's
Jacob
my
played
own special
Fallout.
thing. So
I don't like
I would
Fallout.
love to do if you guys wanted to do your own spin-offs, I'm totally cool with that. It was just you'd have to edit them and I'd show you how to put them on the stream, but it's a lot of work to do, but if y'all want to do it.
The Colton that makes you.
yeah, I'm doing that. The
Yeah.
Colton that makes you laugh. The Colton that makes you
Scream.
Yeah. There's so many good
It's-
ones.
I have thought about what's shaking. Why is it shaking?
Connor literally
Earthquake.
said earthquake.
Okay. Yeah, I've thought about doing a TV one. I want to do a TV episode with one of my good friends because he doesn't watch that many movies, but he watches a lot of TV. So we could do an episode like that. But yeah, TV that makes you.
Yeah.
Video games that make you. I mean, I think it's
Ooh,
endless.
that's a good
It's
one.
endless. Music that makes you.
Video games that make
Juice
you
WRLD.
build.
Come on.
Music.
That's right.
Music that makes you.
Yeah,
it's great.
We're all doing a bunch of spin-offs and we're
Yeah.
working really hard to create this special project, right, Connor?
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Please.
And we still have to design the t-shirts. All right. Well, Thanks so much for listening, everybody. We'll catch you next time. Yeah, Mr. Krabs.
Earthquake.
Thanks so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Again, just a reminder, you can check out all of our links at bio.site/moviesthatmakeyou. Drop us a line. We'd love to hear from you. But until next time, keep watching movies.